the smile that fooled the world. Millions of people have seen this animal before. A small face, round cheeks, bright eyes, and a smile that looks almost human. For years, people have looked at the quokka and thought the same thing. This animal looks happy, but that is not the real story. Because the quokka's smile is not a sign of happiness, it is a sign of survival. Behind that tiny face is an animal that has spent thousands of years learning how to survive in a difficult world. A world with little water, limited food, and conditions that can change without warning. This is the quokka, a small marsupial found mainly in Western Australia. And once you understand what is happening behind that famous smile, you will never look at this animal the same way again. Most people discover the quokka through a picture. A traveler holding a camera. A small animal looking directly into the lens. A moment that feels almost too perfect. People come from all over the world just to meet them, and it is easy to see why. Quokkas are curious. They are calm. They often stay close instead of running away. But there is a reason this animal seems so different. And it has nothing to do with being friendly. It has to do with where it came from and how it learned to survive. Rottnest Island looks like paradise. Blue water, white sand, warm sunlight. From a distance, it looks like the perfect place to live. But the island tells a different story. Move away from the beaches, and the conditions become much harder. The ground becomes dry. The plants become tougher. Fresh water becomes difficult to find. For a small animal, this is a challenging place, and the quokka has nowhere else to go. It cannot simply leave when life gets difficult. It has to survive with what this island provides. So the question is, how does such a small animal survive in such a harsh environment? The answer begins inside its body. Water is everything. Without it, life cannot continue. And on Rottnest Island, water is precious. The quokka has adapted to use every bit it can find. It gets much of its moisture from the plants it eats. Leaves, grass, small bushes. The amount of water inside these plants may be small, but the quokka's body is extremely efficient. It takes what it needs, and it wastes almost nothing. Inside the quokka are powerful little survival tools. Its kidneys help protect every drop of water. Instead of losing precious moisture, they help the animal hold on to it. In a dry environment, this ability can mean the difference between life and death. But survival is not only about what happens inside the body, it is also about knowing when to move and when to wait. During the hottest hours of the day, the quokka disappears. It hides beneath bushes, away from the direct sun, away from the worst heat. It waits. Then, when the temperature begins to fall, the island starts to come alive again. The quokkas begin moving, searching, eating, exploring. By avoiding the hottest part of the day, they save energy. And for a small animal, saving energy is a powerful survival strategy. Finding food is not easy either. The plants on the island are not always soft or nutritious. Many are dry, many are difficult to digest, but the quokka has an unusual advantage. Inside its digestive system, there is a hidden world. Millions of tiny bacteria, working quietly, breaking down tough plants, helping the quokka get energy from food that would otherwise be almost impossible to use. These tiny helpers are invisible, but without them, the quokka's island home would be a much harder place to survive. The real test of survival comes during difficult years, when rain becomes less common, when plants become harder to find, when the island becomes even more demanding. The quokka does not defeat these challenges with strength. It survives by adapting. It slows down. It saves energy. It does what it needs and avoids wasting what it cannot replace. Sometimes survival is not about fighting harder. Sometimes it is about knowing how to endure. But survival is not only about staying alive, it is also about creating the next generation. And this is where the quokka has another remarkable secret. A baby quokka begins life extremely vulnerable. A tiny joey, born blind, almost without fur, unable to survive on its own. It makes its way into its mother's pouch, where it continues growing safely. But the mother has something unusual, a backup plan. After giving birth, a female quokka can become pregnant again. But the new embryo does not always begin growing right away. Instead, it can wait. Scientists call this embryonic diapause. The embryo pauses its development. If the first baby survives, the embryo stays still. If the baby does not survive, the next one can begin growing. Nature has already prepared another opportunity. In an unpredictable world, that can be an incredible advantage. There is one more thing people notice about quokkas. They do not seem very afraid of humans. But this is not because they know people are safe. It comes from their past. For thousands of years, many island quokkas lived without many natural predators. They did not need to spend every moment looking for danger. Over time, they became less fearful. But when new threats arrived, that became a problem. On mainland Australia, introduced predators like foxes and feral cats created a new challenge. A challenge the quokka had never faced before. The same calm nature that helped them survive on islands could make survival harder somewhere else. Today, people are working to protect quokka populations. But another challenge is growing. A changing climate, warmer temperatures, changing rainfall, longer dry periods. For an animal that depends on plants and shade, these changes matter. The abilities that protected the quokka for thousands of years are now being tested in a changing world. And scientists are watching closely, because the story of the quokka may also tell us something about the future of many other animals. So the next time you see that famous smile, remember what is hiding behind it. Not happiness, not luck, a survivor. An animal shaped by thousands of years of challenges. A tiny creature with incredible secrets hidden behind a simple face. And the quokka is only one example. Across the planet, animals are surviving in ways we are only beginning to understand. Amazing stories hidden in plain sight. If you want to discover more, subscribe, because the greatest stories in nature are often the ones we almost miss. I'll see you in the next one.